All right, big question of the day. After the Joshua Dobbs performance, I don't think we've answered this across the board definitively. What does this mean as far as Kyler Murray and when he comes back?
Brittan, go ahead and start. I still have to think through how I want to articulate this.
I think you have to consider about, getting him back sooner than later, but at the same time, you have to keep in mind, like we talked about earlier, it's not a rush job. I'm not going to put somebody out there that's not ready to be out there. But, the quarterback play's done nothing but go downhill the last couple weeks, and it's just been worse and worse. Decision-making has been bad, and I don't want to put it all on him because some of these play calls have been really bad too. Yeah. But it's the same thing. I can't put it all on the play calling because there's some throws that have been atrocious. There's some reads that have been missed tremendously. Just bad reads, bad throws in situations like that, not going through the progression when shit fails immediately. So, yes, you want Kyler back as soon as possible. No, you don't want to put him out there if he's not ready to be there.
The temptation to bring him back, I think, is going to be immense this week. You were at practice every week. He looks fantastic. Here's what I will say, and what we've been saying since March, is that you can be a rebuilding team. You can try to rebuild on the fly. The minute you become inept and unwatchable at the quarterback position is the minute people start doing this. They start tuning out of your product. Plus, you are not able to properly evaluate young players. Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, Hollywood Brown. How are you going to know if you can extend Hollywood Brown if he's not getting the football effectively? So I'm going to tell you right now, it's a business decision, it's a financial decision, and it's a football decision to continue playing or not playing Joshua Dobbs. I think it has a ripple-down effect because right now, you ask anybody in this fan base, you play Dobbs these next 2 weeks respectfully against Baltimore and Cleveland, you are taking L's, barring something unforeseen. Are you comfortable taking L's right now, or do you want to get back in a position where you can enthuse this fan base and evaluate young players offensively? I still think they wait until Atlanta because, to your point, I think they're very stingent and maybe a little bit stubborn on their timeline. It's very similar to the stubborn mindset they had, right or not, this offseason. But I'm going to tell you right now, Joshua Dobbs, the cachet that he had, the house money, that's all gone. And you're starting anew with these Cardinal fans, and people are very, very disgruntled with the product right now.
It's just that the word there is temptation, right? They're going to be tempted by this because they're going to see likely an uptick in production and practice. Kyler Murray is probably going to go out there and make the first team. I'm sure our plays look bad.
Yeah.
Right? And this was a defense that was out there that was balling out against Geno Smith and a pretty potent offense in the Seattle Seahawks, even down DK Metcalf. But they've remained steadfast. And I think that, to your point, they have really no want to make Kyler Murray, if it's not next week at home against the Baltimore Ravens, his first game on the road, early November against the Cleveland Browns, against Myles Garrett. He can make a lot of offenses look bad. I don't think that they want that to be. It's not conducive to a solid return for Kyler Murray. So I think we've got at least 2 more games of non-Kyler Murray quarterback play, probably 2 more games of Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, BG, for me, it's like at the end of the day, Joshua Dobbs, we've seen now the ultimate highs and the ultimate lows. They're going to come in and say everything correctly at the podium. We're going to get better. We're going to continue to work. The jury's out now. And this is unfortunately who he is with this stable of supporting cast. And the biggest factor is you're not going to have James Conner until at earliest Atlanta. So this offense now is beholden to Joshua Dobbs' arm, and that's not a good place to be.
No, and if you're Drew Petzing, this is how you have to realize your play calls now. Yeah. You got to realize you've got to find ways to get the ball out of his hands quick, but it's not checkdowns. You've got to find plays and routes that can get that's 3 to 5 step drops that you can get it out quickly, and you know who you have. All right, we're 7 weeks into this. It's not going to be some gigantic step up. All it can do is go down, but you've got to find ways to get completions. You've got to find ways to move the ball. You've got to get the run game going. Like you said, we don't have James Conner for another 2 weeks, so it's somebody's got to do something.
We're teetering on the point, folks, from regular season to draft season, and I'm not talking about where we're at in the schedule, but where the Cardinals are at in the standings. And I see somebody, Dylan Richards, in the chat, poised to go 1-8, 1-9. That's how you get people's attention real quick to perk up, to look ahead to a generational draft class in 2024. But then you have this big franchise quarterback caveat making a beeline to your team the sooner you rip that Band-Aid off, the sooner that you can quiet that talk and focus more on this season. More super chats here, if we could. Damon Dog, you guys have been fantastic today. Snyder, $1.99. What do you guys think about the CeeDee Lamb rumors? I think Dallas Bo is poised to re-sign CeeDee Lamb. I don't think that's an option.
Nowhere.
No, I just don't think it even makes sense for the Cardinals outside of like connecting the easy dots of players that played together at the collegiate level. They maintained friendship like between him, Hollywood Brown, and Kyler Murray is great. But the draft capital that you have to give up and then have to pay him on top of that, that's a hefty price for a good player, like a really, really good player. But I would much rather see them utilize the draft capital that they would have to get to just acquire him and the cap space also that it would take to extend it.
$4.99 Alex, tongue-in-cheek. Josh Dobbs just has to play the best defenses to play good. Obviously, his performance against San Francisco. That feels like forever ago, doesn't it? The 2 touchdowns should have been 3 against San Francisco. At no point, and maybe it's because you don't have James Conner, did I think that the wheels would fall off so drastically, Brittan.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't. It's not something that you could prepare for. You have a backup quarterback starting right now, and when you lose your starting running back, a guy like James Conner, who's done so much for the run game, and frankly, picking up blitzes in the pass game, he helps you back there. You've had no help, and then I feel like even with the running backs we've got, I feel like we get away from the run game when shit goes down. When shit goes bad, now we're like you said today, there's no reason Dobbs should have 33 pass attempts. No. Right? When the earlier games that we played well, that we should have won, that we were in really, really close, when James Conner was there, we had 157, 200 yards rushing, however you want it to be, and he had 18 to 20 pass attempts.
Yeah, I know people are chirping at me on Twitter saying I'm being too hard on DeMercado. Like, he had 13 carries. I know he was 4.5 yards per attempt, but 13 carries tells you what they think of DeMercado. Like, he is not a bell cow back.
Shit, what does that mean about Ingram?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it means our boy Keontae Ingram could not be their boy much longer. But again, you needed somebody in place that's not James Conner that could come in and carry the ball 20 to 25 times, because that's what this offense needs. Kyler Murray or Josh Dobbs or whatever, this offense, check the history of the Shanahan offense. Whether it's Jeff Wilson or Christian McCaffrey, whomever it is, Raheem Mostert, you have to have a guy go 20 to 25 touches and to keep things honest on the ground. At no point did that feel like this was where this was going today.
That's an interesting wrinkle to this, right? I mean, when you look at the last couple of weeks without James Conner, you've seen an uptick in sacks, right? He gets sacked 4 times today. He got sacked twice last week and then 3 times the previous week. So you're looking at, 9 sacks?
Yeah.
Right around 10 sacks? I don't know. And, James Conner was a big part of that. Obviously, probably your best back and pass pro. And, James Conner was out his 2nd straight week. He's got 2 more weeks to go.
Yeah.
Should be ready to come off IR. I mean, do you want Kyler Murray to come and play, behind that offensive line, that without that conflict of a solid running game and without a running back that's legit in pass pro and that isn't getting chunk yardage and set you up in a good position to be successful offensively? It just seems like the most conducive time for Kyler Murray to come back.
Atlanta.
Cardinals are a loss and a Carolina Panthers win away from being in a position to have the number 1 first overall pick at least next week. Who does Carolina play? Or our friends in Houston. No Texans tracker today. Thank God. We need to take a break because the Texans are a revelation. Topic 64, $1.99. JV got the Jordans on. I do. They were a nice novelty after you guys made fun of my $30 Under Armours from Amazon. We were 1-0 in my Jordans. Subsequently now, we've lost a lot of games. So I may have to go back to the well. Maybe I'll wear some Crocs.
Maybe we just get a new pair of Jordans
next week. Well, that could be an option. I put some lifts in mine. Maybe I just need a little bit more height on this post-game show. We're having a good time. Despite this team, I don't like watching losing football. We don't like watching losing football, but we love hanging every Sunday with all of you here at BetMGM, here in this virtual space. You guys make coverage of the Arizona Cardinals elite here with your elite and premium Arizona Cardinal podcast, PHNX Cardinals. We're back for a banner week. It feels like almost now the week-to-week practices with Kyler Murray feel just as big as these game days as we await the return of the franchise quarterback, number 1, K1. Could that be this time next week? Keep it locked into PHNX Cardinals. And again, a reminder, go PHNX Cardinals wherever you find your podcast. Write us a review. Take a screenshot. We will read it on air. Maybe we'll do it on our audio-only podcast next Thursday. We appreciate all of you. Like this video. We are this close to 19,000 subscribers here on our YouTube page. Help us get there. We appreciate it. Community, no better time to be a fan of the Cardinals. No better time to be a fan of PHNX Sports as we've got Diamondbacks baseball, Coyotes, Suns, everything that you want right in a single place. For Brittan, Golden, Bull, Brock, I'm Johnny Venerable. We're back on Monday. Peace.